A lot of Canadians think that their tax bill will go down once they retire, but this isn't always the case. In fact, many retirees that I've worked with have been completely caught off guard by how much tax they still owe. And this is simply because they missed opportunities to plan ahead. But over the past 12 years, I've helped hundreds of clients legally keep more of their money. And today we're going to walk through 5 retirement tax hacks based on the 2025 tax rules, exactly when and how to use each one, and then also a simple tip to pass on more of your wealth without giving half of it to the CRA. Let me start by telling you about a recent client of mine, Karen. She had just decided to retire at 61, and like most people, she planned on waiting until she turned 71 before converting her RSP into a RIF. She thought that by limiting her registered withdrawals over the next 10 years, she'd be able to stay in a lower tax bracket. And this is true, but as we'll see, it's also not always optimal to do so. When we ran the numbers, we realized that by waiting 10 years to convert her RSP into a RIF and start making withdrawals, that this would eventually push her into a higher tax bracket. Because over the next 10 years, her RSP would keep growing. And then once she was forced to convert her RSP into a RIF and mandated withdrawals began, she would be forced to take out that much more from the account, which would push her into a higher tax bracket. Not only that, but her income would be so high that her old age security would also start being clawed back. But luckily, we spotted this problem early, so we fixed it with a simple solution. See, instead of having her wait until she was 71 to convert her RSP into a RIF and losing thousands of dollars to tax, we decided to start making small withdrawals today, and then we spread those out over multiple tax years. This simple change saved her over $210,000 in taxes over her lifetime. So if you're in a low tax bracket today, consider making modest withdrawals from your RSP and build out a multi-year drawdown plan to make sure that you're filling up those low tax brackets. But our next hack is an even bigger mistake that I see a lot of people doing without even realizing it. See, a lot of people take their CPP at 60 simply because they can, but as we're about to see, this isn't always the most tax efficient thing to do. I've seen this firsthand. One couple took their CPP at 60, which limited the amount of money they could withdraw from their RSPs. Similar to Karen's situation, by the time they converted their RSPs into a RIF at age 71, the mandated withdrawals pushed them into a higher tax bracket. Another couple delayed CPP to 70 and used that gap in their income in their 60s to draw more out of their RSPs while they were in a lower tax bracket. This created the benefit of drawing out RSPs while they're in a low tax bracket, and it also provided them with a higher guaranteed income for life simply because they had deferred their CPP to 70. So if you don't need to rely on CPP to meet your retirement expenses, consider deferring it to 65 or even 70 and use that time period to strategically withdraw funds out of your RSPs while you're in a low tax bracket. And just before I tell you about hack 3, if you want to put these hacks into practice after finishing this video, we've created a free retirement withdrawal guide. It goes over all the hacks that we're about to see in this video, plus a few bonus ones so that you can reference back to whenever you need. Simply click the link in the description to get your free copy today. But for now, let's take a look at a tool that most people are using completely wrong, their tax-free savings accounts. A lot of people treat their TFSAs like emergency savings, but they're actually one of the best tax planning and growth tools that you have at your disposal. Here's an example. One of our clients, Alan, had $120,000 in his tax-free savings account, and he was using it as an emergency fund. After having a conversation with Alan, we realized that the odds of him having an emergency worth more than $50,000 was extremely unlikely. So we decided to keep $50,000 in his savings account within his TFSA, and we decided to invest the remaining $70,000 within his TFSA as well. This allowed Alan to take advantage of higher growth on the $70,000 invested within his TFSA because chances are he would never need that money on a moment's notice. Additionally, any growth on this $70,000 would be tax-free, providing Alan with more funds that he can spend in the future. So use your TFSA strategically. Just because it's called a savings account doesn't mean it has to be used that way. Now, another one of the most common mistakes I see people make is assuming that retirement income is automatically split in retirement. It's not. In Canada, we don't file taxes jointly like in the US. So if one spouse has all the income, they're going to pay more tax even if the other spouse has no income. I worked with a couple where one spouse had an income of $130,000 in retirement, while the spouse had significantly less income. Before planning, they were paying over $15,000 in taxes each year that wasn't necessary. After getting together, we came up with a strategy to convert a portion of the higher earner's RSP into a RIF. Because if you need to split income, consider converting, again, a portion of your RSP into a RIF, because after the age of 65, any withdrawals from a RIF can be split with your spouse, even though they aren't 65. This cannot be done with an RSP withdrawal. By utilizing this strategy, their incomes became much more aligned, which led to $15,000 in less tax being paid. Okay, we're down to our final hack, and this one is something that a lot of people don't even think about until it's too late. You see, most people wait until they pass away to transfer asset, but this can lead to a big tax bill and a smaller inheritance. Let me give you an example. A new client of mine passed away with $1.2 million in his RSP, and since this amount was being paid to his estate, nearly half of it was lost to taxes. Had we been working together longer, we could have implemented an RSP meltdown strategy, allowing him to make withdrawals in a much lower tax bracket. This would have significantly reduced his tax bill at death. You don't have to start giving everything away all at once, but you can start gifting intentionally today. This might mean helping your kids make TFSA contributions, paying down their mortgages, setting up joint accounts, and even funding RESPs for your grandkids. The earlier you plan, the more control you have, and you'll also have the benefit of seeing your legacy in action. Tax planning in retirement isn't one big decision. It's dozens of small decisions made year after year that can lead to real savings. The sooner you start, the more flexibility you have to shape your outcome. And by the way, if you want help putting all this together in a personalized plan, you can book a free retirement tax planning call with us. We'll go over how to structure withdrawals, protect your benefits, and keep more of your incomes. You can book a call via the link in the description. Now, these tax hacks are a great place to start, but what about your overall retirement plan? Even the best tax tips won't help if your broader strategy isn't solid. That's why you should watch this video next. It walks you through the full framework that I use with clients to turn savings into a reliable, tax-efficient retirement income. Click here to watch it now.